Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I am joined by a very special guest. I have got Mr. Stuart Hay. How are you, bud? You all right?
Nah, not too bad. How are you?
I am good, man. How's life? What's been happening?
Freezing, mate. That's
Freezing hot,
just
isn't it?
absolutely freezing, man. It's absolute chaos. Aye, good, mate. Busy. It's been a busy couple of years. It's been non-stop.
Aye.
Anytime I think I've got a wee bit of time to myself, I don't.
Aye.
And I've got a wee 1-year-old floating about as well, so adding him into the mix of things is a good laugh. But aye, good, mate. Just good shows coming up. Got we've got a ridiculous year next year. We've got a very busy year next year. A lot of different things, and I'm trying not to stress myself out about it.
Aye.
That's it.
Right, so we'll just get stuck right into it. Just tell me about you. What was your upbringing like? How did you manage to get into comedy and acting? What was that
Aye,
like?
no worries. Upbringing, mate, just the typical usual upbringing as everybody else, I'd imagine. I'd say nothing really to write home about. Just the same as
No.
everybody else. Grew up in Courtbridge, still in Courtbridge. Done
Aye.
deal. I mean,
No
that's
pond to
it.
fall in, no.
No, that's it. No, not at all. Just football from an early age, same as everybody else. So I mean, before you even utter a word, you know what I mean, you support the
Aye.
team your dad supports. So as
Aye.
far back as I can remember, it's just no, you support Rangers, and that's been it. So following Rangers since before I can remember. Upbringing wise, I was a music guy. I liked my tunes. I still like my tunes. I wanted to
Aye.
be a musician when I was younger. I wanted to play in bands and stuff like that. Not
Really?
not flute bands.
Just to get that clear.
That's it. That's it. Maybe flute bands now. I don't know. But I wanted to be a musician when I was younger, and most of my life was kind of wanting to kind of go down that career path, and I started just I've always been into kind of I'm a big film guy, love my films
Aye.
and stuff. So it was always already like a kind of passing interest into like writing and things like that. And I just always thought one day,
Hmm.
oh, maybe I'll get a bash one day. Weirdly enough, a memory came up on my Facebook a couple of weeks ago. It was like 2012 or 2013 or something. I'd bought myself a book on how to write films, and I think I think the caption was, "Let's give this a bash."
Aye.
Aye, and just weirdly how that's kind of grew into fruition, kind of thing. So.
Aye.
Well, I don't know. Just I've always had an interest in writing and comedy and filmmaking stuff like that. I had a
Hmm.
couple of pals that ended up going to film school and stuff. So I think around about maybe 2016, 2017, I found myself in a position where I had pals that if I was going to write anything, I had pals that could film it,
Aye.
and they had to do things for like their portfolio, sorry, in
Hmm.
uni. So I was like, I'll write a couple of things and we'll shoot some sketches or something. Like, one we'll do.
Aye.
I could, and so we started out just. I was writing sketches, just regular sketches. I was a big fan of shows like Tune the Fat when I was growing up,
Aye.
and Burniston was always funny as well, and I was just always kind of we'll see if I ever get a chance to do something like that. Like we'll see how it goes. So it was just a hobby.
Hmm.
It was just something I seen if it would work out. And then there was a wee opening. BBC. The BBC had like a platform called BBC The Social.
Aye. I
Uh,
remember seeing
and
a load of videos on
uh,
that.
it was all. It was. I don't think they do it anymore. I don't think it's a thing anymore. I've not heard of it in a long time. But
Hmm.
it's just one of those weird things. I think it was just like the stars aligned kind of thing. Just
Aye.
everything kind of just worked out.
It fell
Very
into
true.
place for you.
It was a very very true story. I remember. I was 27, and I was trying to be in a band for like 20 years, and it wasn't working out. And just
Aye.
all my pals were getting married and having weddings, and I was still trying to be a fucking rock star. And it just wasn't working at all. And I remember one night I was steaming drunk, and it was about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just scrolling through my phone, just deflated. And I seen that pop up, BBC The Social, and it was something like, "Do you want to create content for us?" It was just like an application form thing, and I went and I filled it in 4 o'clock in the morning, absolutely blind drunk. And I can't remember what at the time I couldn't remember what I wrote on it, but a couple of days later I got a phone call saying, "Do you want to come into the BBC?" And I'm going, "Fuck, I forgot about that." Weirdly enough, fast forward, the boy who gave me the job, like he's a really close pal with me now. He's a boy called Tom Bell. He works down in Radio One in London now, and he told me one night that he got the application through, and what I wrote was. It was a why do you want to work for the BBC? And I wrote because I'm 27 and I've got fuck all else going on. That was literally the words I wrote on it. And he says he says as soon as I seen it, he's like, "That's what done it." He's like, giving this guy a chance, and it just kind of it just went from strength to strength. With a game originally we were just kind of doing not football sketches. It was just more observational comedy sketches.
Aye.
One of the first ones I'd done a sketch called a Hangover Hotline, and basically what it was if you were out the night before and you can't remember what you'd done, you phoned up a hotline and they told you all the stupid shit you'd done the night before, and that blew up. That was the first one I'd ever done that actually fucking went skyrocketed. And then I started getting a wee bit more opportunities with stuff. I'm going, "Oh fuck, this is actually kind of working. Like this, there maybe be a career out this if I
Aye.
work at it." And then I was about a year or two down the line. I was always a fan of Only an Excuse. And
Aye.
I'm coming from Coatbridge. Coatbridge is predominantly a Celtic town, so a lot of the boys I grew up with were Celtic fans, and I'm a Rangers fan. And I
Mhm.
was like just always patter and banter between us for years and years and years. And
Aye.
it was basically like stuff you would get in Only an Excuse. So I started thinking into going, well, what if I started writing sketches that were about football? I was like, everybody's everybody gets that patter. Everybody, if I wrote that kind of stuff, there'd be a lot of people that would understand it. And
Mhm.
I said to the BBC, would there be an opportunity for me to write No Excuse? And we looked into it. It took me 2 years to get into it, and eventually I managed to get on. So I wrote and I starred in the very last episode of Only an Excuse back in 2020, 5 years ago. Uh, and that was crazy. And just ever since then, just the football stuff I was doing, like I found my niche. I found what I was good at. I found the stuff that I could write and create with people would understand it and it would connect with people. And it's just been that ever since, mate. And now it's been fun. It's nearly 10 years. I've nearly been doing this 10. I've been doing this 8 years.
Aye.
8 years is crazy. That flies in. You know what I mean? So
Aye.
for one drunken email 8 years ago.
It just shows all you need to
Aye.
do is go Stephen and email the BBC.
Aye, one drunken email 8 years ago, and it's led me down this mental path that I'm very much still on and can't get off
So
it. Aye.
obviously you mentioned you're a Rangers fan.
Uh-huh.
What's your thoughts on Rangers this season?
Shocking, terrible, shite, worst
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Do you want me to
Yeah.
keep going?
You can keep going all you want, mate. Aye.
Honestly, I'll tell you. I'll tell you when the bubble fully burst for me. I try to go as many European away games as I can.
Aye.
I never got to when I was younger, growing up with Rangers. Like going to a European away game was like fucking holy grail. You like it was very
Aye.
hard to do.
We're going to
So
Disneyland, innit?
aye, 100%.
Mhm.
So luckily, just the way things are going with me now, like I can manage to get to go to these places. I've met a lot of people that can uh, help me get to these places and go and see these, and I try and go to as many as I possibly can. And
Mhm.
I've got a pal called Bubba. Big shout out to a boy called Bubba for the Quayside Loyal. He was on at me for ages and ages and ages about taking the bus to European away games. He's like, we're going to go to
Aye.
PSV. So when we played PSV a couple of years ago in the Champions League, he's like, we're getting the bus. I was like, I'm not getting the fucking bus.
Aye.
I was like, man, that sounds fucking horrible. He's like, no, mate, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So a year or two went by, and he got a hold of me this year, and he went like to me, we're going to go to Bruges, right? But we're going to go by bus, mate.
Right.
Cheap as chips, bang. I had a ticket anyway. And I was like, fuck it, I'll go for it, right? I'll go for it, mate. Never again.
No.
Right. Don't get me wrong, the way down, brilliant, magic, right? Big party in the bus, 12-hour bus for Oswald's Bar in Glasgow, right? Big party
Aye.
bus. It was the way down was fantastic, right? But I remember we got into Bruges at like 7 in the morning, right? And we get punted off the bus. And I went, what do we do now? And all that. Fuck all. It was like nowhere was open. I mean, it was like fucking, there was nowhere open.
Just
7 in the
sorting
morning.
it out.
We've just had a 12-hour session. We're absolutely fucked, right? And I was like, mate, I'm going to get a hotel. Fuck this. And I came back later on and I went to the game. And I went to that Bruges game where we got absolutely tanked. And
Aye.
mate, I've never felt an atmosphere like it. The hostility was insane, and rightly so. I mean, we were angry.
Mhm.
I mean, the journey that people, any, regardless if you get a plane there, a bus, a train, doesn't matter. You still went out your way and paid a ton of money to go and see things like that, and the team couldn't even show up or do anything. And I remember 90% of people left at half time. I remember a guy screaming at the steward to open the gates at half time, and we all just piled out. Mate, I was back. I was back in my hotel. I was back in my hotel before the game finished. You know what I mean? And
Fucking
I was
insane,
like,
man.
"What's the fuck?" I was like, "What the fuck is the point in this?" And
Aye.
that's when there was a final nail in the coffin for me going, this is the worst team. And I've seen a lot of bad Rangers teams in my
Aye.
life. And but that one takes the absolute biscuit. Luckily, I'm not going to say luckily because I've ran out of optimism. I'm hoping things are looking better. Danny Rose
Aye.
seems like a good manager. Hopefully, he can turn it around again. I've done these podcasts before where I'm all optimistic and I've
Aye.
spoke to people where I'm going, aye, this is it, the changing. It's been the same fucking cycle for nearly 10 years. So I've got
Aye.
to the point now. I'll see what happens. You know what I mean? I'll
Aye.
watch it. I'll support them as I always will do. But I'm not putting my opinion in anymore. It's fucking
Nah.
worthless.
That's what I'm like, mate. Look, Kerry, it gets to the point where you just end up scunning watching football.
Aye,
It
that's it.
ruins your full week, your full weekend. You've got folk in
Aye.
that mug. Like, it's just pointless now, Ken. What I mean, like,
100%, mate. But again,
uh,
it swings and roundabouts. So it does come back. It will come back round. There will be a point it comes back round. When we won 55, that should have been the jump mark
mhm.
period. That should have been it. We're back, and we're now going to build on this foundation that we've
Aye.
finally managed to build, and it just fell apart. There was nothing to make it stronger. It just completely fell apart, and it's never been the same since. And we're still there. You know what I mean, but we're still trying to fucking navigate our way out of God knows fucking what. After
Mhm.
55, that should have been it. All the hardship was done. We'd finally made it back. We had a team, we had a manager, we had structure and foundation, and that should have been the jump mark point to go back and maybe take the reins back of being the predominant team in this country, and it fell apart.
Aye.
I mean, and
Aye.
that's it. Aye, and we're still there. So we'll see what happens. It's a funny season. It's been a very funny season. They're garbage and all. The other side of the city, they're
Aye.
absolutely they're falling apart for the inside as well.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Which is a
Aye.
good laugh. And saying about Hearts again. Hearts are running. They're flying high, but we've seen it last year with Aberdeen. Aberdeen flew high and then it fucking flew too close to the sun. Same thing's going
Aye.
to happen to Hearts. I mean, that might be the. Did they not get beat? They get beat last night or the night before, wasn't it?
Aye. Sunday they get beat for Aberdeen, mate.
Aye,
Aye.
they get beaten Sunday. So is that the crack starting to show? Fuck knows.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you something. If that Celtic team wins this league this year, then Christ,
Aye. There's nothing going for them,
we're
but
really
remember.
bad. Aye.
Eh, Obviously, still on the topic of Rangers, we've seen the other day there, Thelwell and Stuart are away. What's your
Brilliant.
thoughts on that?
Over
Good.
remember that. Over remember that. I don't. Maybe this is me. I'm not too sure on what a fucking a director of football does. I don't really know
Either
what they
ma.
do.
I'm not gonna lie, either ma.
I know. Is it a guy that, for what I'm seeing, is it a guy that comes in and basically oversees what undermines the manager? You know what I mean, so
Mhm.
if I was a manager of a football club, I mean, I want to sign that player. Fuck having to go through a director of football. I
I
mean,
know.
that sounds illogical to me. Again, I might be wrong. I don't know the ins and outs of that role, but for what I'm seeing and for what I've heard here is the fact that what's the point of having a manager if he doesn't get a fucking say in what players he's bringing in? If it needs to
Aye.
go through somebody else, and this Stilwell guy, I mean, you can just see for his track record for being here is just insane. It was just you don't get this type of backlash for a wee fuck up. You don't get this
Aye.
type of backlash for maybe a couple of bad decisions. It's been a consistency of mate, you don't know what you're doing. You're
Mhm.
really fucking this up, so you don't get a full support wishing you were out the building unless you are seriously fucking things up, and
Aye.
that's what's happened. That's what's happened here. So I like to see the fact that the owners are listening. I like to see that.
Mhm.
And we'll just need to take it for where it goes. What's their next
Aye.
move? I don't fucking know. I mean, I couldn't tell you what the next move is. With Rangers, it could be anything. Honestly,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if there'll be some, I don't know, some random fucking wild card getting chucked in the mix next week to be some
Or
sport. I'm hearing great.
maybe.
I've heard Graham Souness. You know what I mean?
I've heard Barry Ferguson and Graham Souness both going in. I've heard they too.
No idea. No
Nah,
idea.
I'm no.
Absolutely no idea.
Nah.
But listen, it's the way it goes. It's just it's Scottish football. It's the reason why I do what I do as well. There's always something. It's a revolving door apart. There's always
Aye.
something happening. There's always something ridiculous going on. Whether it's the Celtic AGM where they're fucking screaming at their
Aye.
own board, I mean, or it's us employing two absolute clowns who haven't got a clue how a football team works. You know what I mean?
Aye.
It's absolutely magic. It's insane. It's misery and it's comedy on the one go. It's fucked up.
Aye. What's your favourite Rangers memory? Look, for growing up watching them to now,
Plenty,
what's your favourite memory?
plenty. Could give you a few. One of my earliest memories, one of my favourite earliest memories was the 3-0 game at Parkhead in '98.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go to my grand's house. So when I was younger, I was born in '89, and my earliest memories of Rangers are like '95, '96 onwards.
Aye.
And we used to go to my grand's house to watch Old Firm games, and I remember that one. It was just a really good. It was always a really good time because during that time we were fucking brilliant.
Aye.
And so any time we went, we were going to my grand's house and she put a big feast on and she made like the best soup
Mhm.
that fucking ever existed. And it was just watching my papa screaming at the telly. And I remember Neil McCann's goal. I remember that, and that was a really that's my I think that's my earliest favourite memory. Other ones,
Mhm.
mate, there's been plenty. Helicopter Sunday, I remember that.
Aye.
I remember the UEFA Cup final 2008 where I had to sit in the floor of a bus. I sat in the floor of a bus all the way from Coatbridge to Manchester because they oversold the bus, and I had to be hid because they were over capacity. So they had to hide me and my pal on the bus. I remember being down there. I remember it's scorching hot.
Mhm.
Them result wasn't fucking great, but it was my first.
Ah.
It was my first away day with Rangers. I was 18 years old. Me and my pal went down. It was a blistering hot day. I'd never seen that many people in my life. The rest of the day was absolutely fucking pish.
Aye.
55. You know what I mean? The whole thing with 55 was insane. I remember
Mhm.
when it was announced, I opened up my window in the house and I opened up that hard that I broke it. And we had to get somebody. I know we had to get somebody down to fix the window because I opened the window and screamed out the window, and I
I
broke
was
the
in my
handle.
work at that time
Aye,
when Rangers won, and I shouted in the warehouse, "You fucking beauty!" and I got
aye,
a disciplinary for it.
worth it. Well,
It
actually,
was well worth it.
well,
Aye.
even with that one, I remember George Square. People went to George Square, but because it was all COVID and stuff like that, it was like frowned upon to go. And but I went. I put a mask on and I put my scarf around my face, right, and I was like, I won't tell
Aye.
anybody I'm going. And I went, and it was magic. And I get too fucking steaming. And it was me and my cousin, and I went like to him, take my picture, right? So he took a picture of me with these flares behind me, and I've got my scarf over my face, and I've got a bottle of wine in my hand, right? And stupidly, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm steaming, going, "That's a cracking picture. I'll put that on." Woke up the next morning to BBC News, BBC News phoning me, asking if I would like to come on and explain my actions for for breaching COVID. I was like, "Fuck."
Nice.
Uh,
Aye.
then Seville, that my latest best memory was Seville. Me and my cousin went on an absolute adventure trying to get there. We only managed to get it off work like 3 days before it,
Oof.
and the only flights we could get, we had to drive to London, fly from London to Toulouse in France, spend the night in Toulouse in France, and then fly to Malaga, and then get a bus from Malaga to Seville. Some of the best couple of days of my life. That trip was like to get to the game was insane,
Aye.
brilliant. And then we fucked it on the way home because we were supposed to come through Morocco, and we slept in, we didn't make home, I had to spend a fortune to fucking go up the road. But I remember, I've got a memory that will last forever. When Aribo scored, like I didn't have a ticket for the game. I went to a fan zone and I'm watching it, and Aribo scored, and there was like this millisecond of just silence. It was like
Aye.
nobody could believe it. I could still picture it, and it was like this millisecond of just you could hear a pin drop, and then the biggest like fountain of beer just fucking filled the place. Everybody just went fuck yeah. That was insane. To be able to say that I seen my team score in a European final and was a special thing, because going to
Aye.
Manchester was great and stuff like that, but being able to be especially going over to Spain, somewhere like actually going abroad, seeing your team in a final, especially after all the shite we went through, and then
Mhm.
seeing them score, especially score first. I mean, it was as if
Aye.
like wildest dreams coming
Mhm.
true. And then I've had some good away trips. I mean, I've had some cracking away trips. Went to Bilbao, Bruges, aye, stuff like that. It's been great. There's been a million highlights. Watching the Rangers over here, a million things that I'll take to my grave with me. Well,
Mhm.
that's the reason you do it. Innit? That's the reason you do
Aye.
it. Aye,
Who is your favourite ever Rangers player?
George Albert's
George Alberts.
every time.
No Gaza, no.
No, George Albert's.
No,
He was the
really?
guy for me. He was the guy.
Think
He
so.
was the guy. Aye, to this day. I've not. It's weird. I've not had a chance to meet him yet. It's weird. Like, well, passing ships in the night. There's times he's in places where I'm in places at different times. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to meet this guy. But I've heard he's a fucking gentleman. I've heard he's fantastic.
Aye.
And just growing up, mate. Just all my old tops, all the tops I've got for him for back then. I've all got Alberts on the back. He was
Aye.
just a glory man. He was a game changer. He was a game winner. He was everything. He was an all round player. He was just this absolute beast who could just don't get me wrong, Gaz is an absolute fucking magician. McCoist. I mean,
Aye.
again, I'm lucky enough to say that I grew up my time where I got to see these players, but I was still very
Mhm.
young. Brian Laudrup, you know what I mean? There's
Mhm.
an abundance, mate. The De Boer brothers, fucking just,
Aye.
there's an abundance of players that we had that were absolutely great. But for me, don't know, George Alberts, every time.
Aye.
Aye,
Brilliant.
every time, mate.
Right. Talk to me about the journey back. How did that start and get to the platform it's on the new? Because it's been a
Johnny back.
massive step, is it no?
It's been a weird one, mate. Aye.
Mhm.
It's completely and utterly took over my entire life for the past three
Aye.
years, but it's been great, mate. I've enjoyed it. I got a chance. It was about 3 years ago. It was Grado and wee Stephen Purden.
Aye.
They were part of a Rangers. There was a Rangers show at the Pavilion a few years back called Rally Round the Rangers. And
Mhm.
I'd never, like, I mean, I was before I'd done it. I didn't give two fucks about theatre. Couldn't care. Like, who the fuck gives?
Mhm.
Who goes to the fucking theatre? I mean,
Aye.
like, why would you even think about that? And then you always heard Celtic done hundreds of theatre stuff, and it was just like fucking, let them do it.
Aye.
Yeah, so there was, it was a news that I'd never really heard about it, and Grado couldn't do it one year, and I didn't even know he knew who I was. And I got a message on my Instagram one day, and it was for him. And it wasn't even all right, Stuart, how you doing? He didn't even do any of that. He just wrote, do you want to do rally around the Rangers? I was like, well,
Just
first of
straight
all,
to it.
I was like, first of all, how you doing, mate? And second of all, I was like, I actually said to him, I was like, mate, what the fuck's that? And he went, it's a Rangers show at the Pavilion. I can't do it. And mate, at the time, only excuse had finished.
Mhm.
The pandemic had all happened. Things weren't really fucking moving forward with anything. And I went, fuck it. I was like, I'm doing nothing else, man. I was like, let's get a bash. So I'd never done any like that my entire life. I could count in one hand the amount of times I've actually been to a theatre before that. Like,
Aye.
and I chucked myself in the deep end, and I went, mate, and I loved it. Like, every night we went on in that pavilion, mate, it was sold out, and it was just up there singing Rangers songs, and I was like, fuck, this is unbelievable. This is
Aye.
class. And again, that whole thing when I was growing up and I wanted to be a musician and I wanted to play to live audiences, it ticked that box for me. It was giving me
Aye.
that feeling of, fuck, this is great. I mean, but I wasn't a big fan of the story. It was just a random story. It was just a Rangers thing, but
Aye.
people loved it. So because of the writing background, I was like, I'm thinking about doing my own one here, and I didn't know what to do it about. And it was Brian Matthews for Oswald's Bar. It was me and him were out one day, and I told him about it, and he says to me, he's like, why don't you do it about the journey? and it just made it was like a fucking like a light switch going off in my head. I went,
Aye.
fucking aye, because I was there for all those years. I was away down to fucking Ayr and away up to Elgin, and
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you,
Aye.
as much as it was a terrible, horrendous time. See, looking back on those days I had, mate, some of the best days I ever had. See, the away days were hilarious.
Aye,
You
they
did,
were off again away
aye,
days.
aye, they were brilliant, man. You were away up to the middle of fucking nowhere with your pals, just
Mhm.
having a laugh. It was a random weird fucking time, and then the big thing for me was the fact that within 10 years, that team went all the way down to the very bottom and went all the way back up, won a fucking title, and got to a European final, all within 10 years. There's other teams around the world that have been relegated just to the division below them. And it
Aye,
takes them
and they
10 years
struggled to
just
get
to get
back
back
up.
up and all that.
Aye.
We have won every single league in this country. We have fucking beat every fucking team. And I felt as if the club didn't recognise that. Nobody, everybody was shying away from it because they're like, "Oh, why would I don't want to relive those moments?" And I was going, "No, mate, it's possibly like our greatest achievement of all time. Like that's the most Rangers thing I've ever heard in my life. Like
Aye.
how strong a support we are, how strong a team that we are, that we fucking get knocked all the way down. And when I was looking into it and stuff like Bill Struth himself back in the day, like, one of his most famous quotes was, there'll be days when we're absolutely fucking shite. There'll be times when
Mhm.
we get knocked fuck out of, but it's about how you stand up and come back. That
Aye.
shows the true character of Rangers, and that entire journey spelled out to me what it meant to be a Rangers fan and be a Rangers team. So I wrote the show, and I wrote it honestly from my point of view and the way. And the thing was, my experience was everybody's experience. I was the thing, the team I was watching, and the experiences I was going through with the buses to the middle of nowhere, fucking getting beat off, fucking God knows who. It was
Aye.
everybody's experience. So when I wrote it and we done it, everybody, like, people connected with it and people understood it, and that's where we are now. And just it's completely changed my life. That because of that show, I can now say this is my full time job, and it's been my full time job for
Aye.
the past 3 years. It's made my wildest dreams come true, mate, and I've managed to tour the world with my pals. You know what I mean? The people that are in the
Mhm.
show are friends, we're actual pals, and being able to get in and go and do things like the Hydro and Belfast
Aye.
Arena and stuff like that, and just and Sydney Opera House and stuff. It's just it's insane. It's absolutely insane, mate. So I'm extremely grateful for this gift that I've given myself. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
What was you like the first night you played the Hydro? Seeing that big crowd, was you nervous at all, or was it just, you know what, I'm just going and going to have fun?
It's a weird thing, mate. It's when it comes to doing these shows, I'm the I'm the writer, I'm the producer, and I'm in it.
Aye.
Right. So see when we turn up to these venues, I don't get to just go and sit in my ass until I go on. There's a
Aye.
million things I need to deal with this guy, I need to deal with this guy. So when it came to going to do the Hydro, big massive arena, like I was non-stop that full day of having to sign things off and having to make sure
Mhm.
things were right. So before you knew it, it was time to go on, and it was just like, right, fuck it, right, mum, we're going. So mate, blink an eye, and it was over and done with. We filmed it, so luckily I get to watch it back and go, fuck, I did do that.
Aye.
And at the end, I got to take wee bits and moments in and stuff like that. But I took it as much as I could. I really did. But again, I'm glad I got to document it. I had my son there. I've got one of the greatest pictures I've ever took in my entire life of me and my son on the stage at the Hydro and holding him up. And I can't wait for when he's older to show him that,
Aye.
and when he understands what it is.
Hmm.
And just things like that, mate. Again, it's all came on. It's all came very quickly. It's only been the past 3 years. I mean, in 3 years, it was not it was even a thing, and now in 3 years' time, I've got stories like that. So, mate, I don't know, you're always nervous when you go up and do it, but it's more just you're shiting yourself that much that you don't let yourself slip. You just go, right, get this. You need to get this done.
Aye.
And you've got great people around about you, like the people I've got that work on the show, like even the boys behind the scenes, the boys that do all the tech, like
Mhm.
I'm so trustworthy of them all. Like I know for a fact, even if there is any fuck ups for MD, then somebody will fix it.
Aye.
You know what I mean, somebody will pull me out of a fucking hole. Luckily, it's never really happened. But
Aye.
but I've got the trust of everybody around about me. They've got my trust as well, and we go up there and we just have a laugh and enjoy it. And it's incredible for them as well. Like the people who are in the show, they're all veteran actors. Some of them have been in films and movies, and some of them are playing iconic people. And so it's great to be able to like do something with them where they can actually go. Oh fuck, that was great. I really enjoyed that
Mhm.
because there's things that they've done with their career that's so high. Like to be able to give them something just as good as, especially for somebody like they know themselves. I had no experience doing this before we done it. Absolutely fuck all experience, and they thought I was a madman when I was telling them we were going to do the hydro and stuff like that. So to be able to go up there and do things like that and go, fucking told you we'd do
Aye,
it. So I like it. It's a good feeling.
good. And he's going back and tour with it next year. Is that right? Aye, am I right in saying
Well,
that?
we were supposed to we were supposed to be in to Sydney in September there. We had to change the dates and it was a nightmare. So I get rattled with a ton of costs. So we were supposed to end it last year. Last year was supposed to be them. We were supposed to end it at
Aye,
Sydney because we've got a new show now. There's a new show coming out next year called Gallant Pioneers.
right.
That's in January at the Armadillo, and it's all about the boys who started the club. Which
Mm-hmm.
an amazing story that not a lot of people know about. But you might think you know about the history of Rangers, but there's things that you have no idea about, and it's just some of the stuff that you dig up. And I work closely with the boys who do the Founders Trail. If you've ever heard of them.
Aye.
Aye, so Ian and Gordon, they do the Founders Trail. Two boys off their own back. They just go out and they take people on tours round about Glasgow of the sites
Mm-hmm.
where Rangers, the first pit, the first place we played, the second place, third place, fourth place, and tell you the story of how Rangers became a thing, and tell you things that you never even knew. And I wanted to really make a show where I gave gave these people life again, because for a lot of people that think about the Rangers founders, like all you've got is a picture. So these are just
Aye.
faces in a picture. Like, but these were boys that actually lived and breathed and were real people. So I'm looking forward to doing that in January and really bringing to
Mm-hmm.
life the story of our club, and educating myself as well, because there's things I've learned that I was like, nah, no way, didn't know that. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So that was supposed to be the next. But we're supposed to end the journey back this year, and then next year going on was supposed to be just complete Gallant Pioneers. But
Aye.
I put a wee tour on with the journey back to to cover the cost of Sydney, because that was a fucking nightmare. But mate, we're doing some cool places next year. One of the big reasons they're doing the show was because I wanted as many Rangers fans to see this as possible.
Aye.
I didn't want to just keep it in Glasgow or Belfast. I'd like there's Rangers fans all over the world, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm really proud of the fact that next year we're going up to like Stornoway, we're going to like Elgin and all these villages and towns that,
Aye.
I mean, they have to come down to Glasgow to do any Rangers. I was like, that didn't sit well with me. Like, we're going to bring you something. We'll bring you some Rangers stuff up and have a really good night. And
Aye.
then we're going to Blackpool and all. We're playing in the Central Pier at Blackpool
Right.
next year, which will be fucking hilarious.
That'll be good. Aye.
I'm massively looking forward. We've been trying to get back to Blackpool for a couple of years, so I'm glad we managed to get it over and done with. But next year will be the very last year that we do the journey back, and then we'll carry on with the new show, Gallant Pioneers. But I'll be
Mm-hmm.
able you'll see more about the Gallant Pioneers stuff coming out this week, and throughout the fall of December. Just it's taking everybody back to 1872 onwards, about the four boys. Well, it's five
Aye.
boys really. People don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. There's another guy that very rarely gets a mention. A man called Tom Valance. He's basically like the ringleader of who kind of pulled Rangers through, and really set the standard early on in the early years and stuff like that. So I'm massively looking forward to taking that story on next year at the Armadillo, and who knows, maybe we might do a night at the Hydro with that one. We'll see what happens.
Aye.
Aye,
Good. Right, we'll touch on it quickly because I know we don't have much time.
that's all right,
Scotland's World Cup
mate.
qualifying. What did you think against
Mate,
Denmark?
I'll tell you now, like without without getting into it, because there's a lot of Rangers
Mhm.
fans that don't look fondly upon Scotland, and I can
Aye.
understand an extent. I understand the full Steve Clark thing when he was an
Mhm.
Arsenal, when he was a Coman. I totally get it. Steve Clark is a pain in the ass, right?
Aye.
I also understand there's been times in the past where the Scotland support has been biased towards Rangers in a way. I have seen that, I understand that, but at the end of the day, I was born here. I'm a Scotland fan. I'm Scottish. You know what I mean? I'm a Scottish guy. I was born in Bells Hill. I grew up with my dad grew up with a Scotland team with Jim Baxter and all that in it. I grew up with a Scotland team with Alan McCoist and that in it. I mean, and very, very true fact. When I was doing the research for Gallant Pioneers, Rangers hold the record for players that played for Scotland. The more Rangers
Really?
players in the entire history of the Scotland national team have came from Rangers. Still
Really?
to this day. Aye.
I
Know what
never
I
knew
mean?
that.
No, there you go. Know what I mean? So
Oh,
things like
brilliant.
that. Rangers have contributed more players to the Scotland national team than any other team.
Wow.
I mean, I know.
There's
So
a
it's just things like that.
fun
So
fact for the day.
I went to Germany. Like I got an opportunity. I've got a pal who's a Dunfermline fan for some fucking reason, and he's a mat and he follows Scotland. So he got a hold of me. He says I can get his tickets for the opening game in Munich. Do you want to go? I'm like fucking 100%. And
Aye.
he mate got on the plane, and the first people we met were Rangers fans, and we're still pals with them to this day. You know what I mean?
Aye.
So it's just things like that, mate. I don't know if it's a stigma thing. I don't know if it's just people jumping on the bandwagon going, "Oh, Scotland fans hate Rangers" and all that shit. I don't necessarily agree with it. I do understand that there has been pressures in the past. I understand that there has been times, but for me personally, I stay away from all that. If I want to go and support Scotland, I'll go and fucking support
Aye.
Scotland.
Aye.
It's not anybody else's business, and I don't need anybody else's permission. No,
Mhm.
so I'm a proud Rangers fan, and I enjoy watching Scotland. And that was one of the greatest games of football I've ever seen the other night. I loved every second of it. It was
Aye.
insane.
Three of the four goals are three of the best goals I've ever seen.
Of all time, mate.
Easy.
Seriously.
Easy.
And I hate the fact that I had to celebrate a Kieran Tierney goal. I hate
That's
that.
what I was literally about to say to you, though. I hate the fact it was Kieran
Aye,
Tierney that scored. But
had to be done it.
aye.
But I
So
did.
we'll move on a wee bit. How do you think the Premier League will finish this year? Who do you think will win it? Who's going down?
I'd be wrong if I didn't say I want it. Of course, I want Rangers. Of course, I want Rangers
Aye.
to win it. You know what I mean, of course, I do. Until it's not entirely possible, I'll always still say Rangers. I always will.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said at the start of the podcast, given the fact that where Rangers have been and the way Celtic have been, and the way Hearts maybe muck it up, I'd be severely disappointed if Hearts mess it up, but for some reason Celtic win it.
Aye.
It'd just be an absolute kick to the teeth. Going down, I'll be honest with you, I've not really been paying attention to the bottom too well. Who's been doing
Mm-hmm.
shite? Who's been doing
Aberdeen.
bad?
Aberdeen's down there. Falkirk's
I
down
will
there.
get it. I get it. Me fuck.
Livingston's down there.
Livingston are always down there. You know what I mean?
I know.
I get it. I mean, they get any higher, mate. They get a nosebleed, man. Nah, get Aberdeen. Fuck. That'll be a good laugh.
Aye.
Aye. So
Right.
that's again, mate. When it comes to this league, it's Scottish football, mate, and if anything, as much as the downfall of Rangers this season and the downfall of Celtic this season, it's opened up to be an exciting season, hopefully. But again,
Aye.
it could very quickly become dull again if we start losing points and Hearts start
Mhm.
losing points and
Aye.
Celtic fucking three-wheel it to the fucking finish line. It'd just be deflating. Like, what the fuck's the
Aye.
point? You know what I mean? If anything, this is Hearts' biggest ever chance to win the league. I think when did they win it? The 50s or something was the last time they won
Fuck,
it.
fuck knows. Aye, something like
Something like that. I've got a pal for Edinburgh who's a jambo, and he's just a Rangers fan without the train fare. That's all he is. He's kidding himself on, man. I mean, that's it. But he gets raging with that. It's a good laugh. I'm going to send him
that.
this. So it's in their hands, right? If they want to be treated as if they're fucking big time players, then shows that you can win
Mhm.
this league, right? Because this
Aye,
Rangers and Celtic are on their arse, and you're not going to get another fucking chance at this.
I know.
I wouldn't be happy if they won it, but again, I wouldn't be happy if MD won it apart from Rangers. So
Aye.
that's really it, mate. That's it, man.
Right, we'll finish off. You're the manager. You've got a five-a-side team of your favourite Rangers players in the what that's ever played with Rangers. Who are you picking? So
a lot of people, a
you
lot
can
of people
go
would,
goalie, then whatever.
uh, a lot of people would go Gorham, right? And as much as I love
Mhm.
Gorham, I'm going to go Stefan Kloss,
That's
right?
who's in mine.
Aye, Stefan Kloss. I'm
Aye.
going to go two at the back. I'm going to take. I'm going to take Richard Goff.
Richard Goff. Yeah.
And he'll be raging if I don't put him in it. So Marvin Andrews. I was going to go Big Ammo or Craig Moore, but we'll put.
Aye.
I'll tell you something. Seen till you've played against Marvin Andrews. By the way, the guy's a fucking brick. I know what I mean.
I can
He's a
imagine.
brick wall, man. In the middle, I'll take 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll take Barry.
Right. Yeah.
Finisher, and then McCoist.
Aye.
Because it's 5 sides. There's not going to be people probably think about putting like Lovencrans or a winger in there or something like that.
Mhm.
Nah, mate. Two sort of solid keeper, two solid at the back that can fucking play the ball. Barry who can control it, and McCoist who can finish.
What about Alberts? You've left him out.
I have, but listen, there's no space for Albert's with a 5-a-side team. He needs a full pitch.
Aye.
Yeah.
Well, Stuart, thanks very much for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it.
Not
I
at
know
all,
we
mate.
never had
Anytime.
much time, but it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you, learn about the
Well, it's
journey
all.
back, learn about what you're doing next. You know, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Well,
So thanks
pleasure's all
very
mine,
much,
mate.
mate.
No
Aye,
problem at
all
all.
right, bud.
Pleasure's all mine.
Right, thanks very much, mate. I really
No worries.
appreciate it.
All the
Right,
best, mate.
cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.